The college football experience, FCS and FBS national championship preview and picks, and DFS lineup episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks presented by WynnBET. WynnBET's now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET is what you need to win. Sign up today. Bet $100. Get a $100 free bet at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. State restrictions apply. Remember to let it ride, people.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome. Welcome to the college football experience, FCS and FBS national championship preview and picks episode. And you're damn right, we're going to give away our DFS lineups. Probably going to hit.
Why not?
Probably going to hit for some cold hard thousands of dollars of cash. Let's go. We've done it before on this very show. We can do it again. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swiggin Database Dad, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
Nobody knows nothing. Somebody knows. Double the price. But no one touches Dundee.
Oh, it's a beautiful time. Got college hoops on below. Subscribe to the college basketball experience as well as we transition. But still, college football goes all year. We talk college football all year long on this feed, and you better believe I'm going to be bringing you way more episodes than you're used to in the coming days here.
There's only one game left.
2 games.
Well, true.
2. All right.
You're right. Corrected.
I am joined by my co-host, the DFS god himself. Come play DFS with us. We tweet out the invite on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Give it up for the rooftop IPA drinking, homebrew making, Tobacco Road living, the free lock giving. Former Herndon Basketball League MVP, give it over NC Nick in the place to be.
There we go. National championship time, FBS and FCS.
Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah.
Throw a little DFS in there, too. What other acronyms can we throw in here?
Oh, yeah. Let's go. Tecmo music playing. Shout out to Tecmo Bowl. Greatest fucking video game ever, if you ask me. Well, I mean, where do we start? I guess we start with, we got news. We got a lot of news. Patty C's going cross country or something. I don't know. Right?
We hope that he finds his way back at some point.
High chance he's, in a truck stop doing God knows what.
Is it true that he went to find himself?
Yeah. He needed to find himself, needed a cleanse. But we got news, man. We got a lot of news on the college football landscape.
I'd rather ride on my motorcycle, and I don't want to die, just want to ride on my motorcycle.
Bobby Petrino took the motorcycle from Missouri to Vegas for a little pit stop, 3 weeks in Vegas, and then boom, he lands at College Station, Texas. Jimbo Fisher, not known to actually have offensive coordinators that actually call their own plays. I know some. Let me give a shout out to who was tweeting me today. Let me just find this. Shout out to J Toller 20, business owner and college football fan. He says, shout out to that.
All right.
He goes, you make fun of this hire all you want, Dundee. This was a home run hire. And I said, hey, Bobby Petrino knows how to have an efficient offense.
That he does. He's proven that.
But Jimbo Fisher doesn't really relinquish the offense. So, the duties. So, I mean, historically, there's other OCs that have complained about this.
Right.
That Jimbo's like the guy you can have there. You can have yourself there as an offensive guy and you're giving him ideas, but he's calling the fucking plays.
Tough to, teach an old dog new tricks, but maybe with some of the heat coming down on Jimbo this year, maybe he'll change his ways.
Well, I love the possibility of them firing Fisher after the year and Petrino being the face of Texas A&M football.
I love the one of the official tweets about his hire said something like, after a short stint as the OC at UNLV, I was like, a short stint. He was there for like 3 weeks in the off season. Does that even count?
Do you even go to Vegas yet?
Right.
I feel like you go there to sign the contract. You fly home for Christmas, New Year's. And you're like, you know what? I signed the contract. Here's your
right.
moment.
Like, what did he do there? Did he go on any recruiting trips? I mean, did he? What did he do in those 3 weeks?
No idea. But so you got DJ Durkin on the defensive side of the ball, who I know some people like to. He has a little cloud behind him. I don't think all of that is just, in my opinion. But DJ Durkin, wasn't the greatest defensive coordinator for them a season ago. And now you have Bobby Petrino, who obviously brings some baggage as far as whether it's teams quitting on him or him quitting on teams, leaving them notes in their locker rooms, like in Atlanta, or having an affair with an intern and going around town on a motorcycle and crashing.
It's Texas football. Okay. They don't care about
A&M. This is normal.
Yeah, this is minor stuff, man. Come on, sweep it under the rug.
When he signed the contract, they probably gave him a couple interns. All right, saying, "Hey."
Apparently, that happens at LSU. I'm not sure about A&M, but probably.
Yeah, I could go ahead and say A&M. Didn't they give Eric Dickerson? Eric Dickerson went on a recruiting trip while he was at SMU, while he was in high school.
Yes.
And
before he went to SMU.
Everyone blamed SMU, but if you watch that 30 for 30, Dickerson's like, Texas A&M gave me a gold car.
Not even for signing.
Yeah.
That was to entice him to sign.
And then he took it, and then they knew that they wouldn't be able to do anything. Fucking hilarious.
Can you imagine Dickerson with those jerry curls driving that gold car on through Texas in the early 80s or early 80s, right? Yeah, early 80s.
Can you imagine Bobby Petrino with that sweet ass neck brace driving that gold car? Got some strawberry blonde in the shotgun seat, doing God knows what.
Beautiful America.
Honestly, though, what do you think? I mean, A&M's offense will be able to fly. I think. I mean, they have talent. We know this.
Yeah, I know there's been a shit ton of players transferring out. I think number 2 in the country after Jackson State. Is that right? I saw the list today. They were definitely top 5.
Yeah, no, I think they might be number 1.
Might be number 1.
Yeah.
So they got a ton of people transferring out, but yeah, they still have talent. Dude, they had playmakers this year. I mean, the one of the problems was the poor quarterback play. I don't know how you're going to fix that immediately unless you look towards the portal, but they certainly have talent. So they just need the right OC.
Yeah, and
they do miss Mike Elko on D. That's for sure. If I can give a little bit more Duke love to head coach Mike Elko.
100%. And then we have news of Jim Harbaugh, potentially talked to the Carolina Panthers. Said it wasn't an interview. I still am reluctant to believe he leaves Michigan because I think they're loaded this next year.
The one thing I heard about that too made no sense either. So it wasn't about NIL. It wasn't about transfer portal. He was just fed up with college football. I'm like, well, what does that mean?
Yeah. Normally they go hand in hand.
Yeah. Right. I mean, so all I know here is, where there's smoke, there's fire usually. Yeah. We're hearing from a couple sources now. So it seems the timing would be strange if he jumped to the NFL now because Michigan should be completely loaded next year.
Well, and Michigan would be kind of fucked on hiring somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you could get Matt Campbell from Iowa State or something, or PJ Fleck from Minnesota. But I mean,
speaking of Iowa State, Dan Schertz in the chat says someone needs to be put in jail for the crimes committed against Iowa State this year.
He's correct.
Basketball?
No,
what are you talking about?
Football. Those calls and a lot of those close games, they got absolutely robbed in a lot of. I feel like it was like 3 weeks in a row early in the season. Yeah, they probably should have been bowling. I mean, they wouldn't have won the Big 12, but they did get hosed in a couple straight games. I remember
a lot of close losses.
Yeah. What else? I feel like there was some other news as far as I mean, I read something. I don't know how true this is yet, but I'll share it online that Jim Leonard could be USC's next defensive coordinator.
Wow, that'd be a great hire.
That would be, right? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know that there's any official report that he's in Los Angeles, but if that was to happen,
he has to be the most sought after DC out there right now.
You would think.
I mean, somebody's going to scoop him up. That would make a ton of sense.
Yeah, definitely. That would be a home run get for them. What else? The portal.
Who transferred to Wisconsin? Wasn't there a quarterback that transferred to Wisconsin? Did we mention that last episode?
We had Oklahoma's backup transfer there. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but someone else went as well. Oh, Tanner Mordecai.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting because he comes from a very pass-heavy offense, and I think we're going to see a different approach for Wisconsin this year. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they totally change that offense, which has been, I mean, come on, run heavy, stuck in the past for as long as I can remember, as long as I've watched college football, which is a long time. So I think it's going to be interesting to see in Madison, how they approach offense next year.
Be aware what you wish for. You're not going to be bringing in the speed. I actually think Wisconsin needs to do that. Like you know what I mean? Like, okay.
Well, Purdue's able to have a finesse offense and make it work.
Fair enough. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it worked this year. I don't know if it's been working every single year. And I actually think it worked because no one else in the conference did that.
Yeah.
If everyone else starts switching to that, I don't know that it will be successful. But the chat's asking, you guys still doing the college basketball show tonight? You're damn right we are. I'll be around I'd say about 12:30 on the East Coast, AM 9:30 on the West. Missouri is finalizing a deal to make Fresno State offensive coordinator Kirby Moore, that is the brother of Kellen Moore, the new offensive coordinator at Missouri. Fresno's offense was good when Haener was healthy.
Kind of similar to A&M, where Missouri had some players too last year. And they probably had better quarterback play, at least slightly, over the Aggies. So, yeah, I think you get that coordinator to put the right players in the right places, and maybe they can win more than 6 or 7 games.
Yeah,
maybe they can save Eli Drinkwitz's job.
True. Ball State legendary running back Carson Lexington Steele.
Oh, I'd love to see this, man.
Transfers to UCLA. Oh, you're telling me Fabio? John Riggins means Fabio.
He's going to do okay there, huh? He's going to do okay with the ladies in Southern California.
Check this out now. Now we have Grayson McCall comes back to Coastal Carolina. Next year, week 1, you got Big Bird taking on Lexington Steele in the Rose Bowl.
Wow.
Come on. Sign me up.
We got to go, man.
Sign me up. Yeah, come on out here for that one.
And maybe some people don't know him, but he was a hell of a running back on Ball State last couple of years. Really, I think exploded on the scene this year, even more so. And especially with Charbonnet leaving, I mean, dude, he should be the top dog in that UCLA backfield. And it's going to be fun watching him, at the major level rather than just in the MAC. So, that's going to be fun.
I agree. I mean, I'm super excited. Lane Elliott's already talking. He's probably got a man crush on Patty C. does.
Oh, I know. Patty C. does.
Patty C's probably outside of his house in Muncie, Indiana right now.
Patty C. usually saves his love for the good-looking quarterbacks, but he made an exception here.
I could see him parked in a van with some binoculars outside of Lexington Steele's apartment. What What else do we got? I mean, the portal's just crazy. I know Ohio State just got a top corner from Syracuse, but they also lost a few players. We're going to do an episode. Dylan Johnson, though. Dylan, you son of a bitch, to quote Predator. Mississippi State running back, lands at Washington. What'd you make of that get?
Well, he had some harsh words about Mike Leach.
Took him back, though. Was man enough that after the Leach accident, he regretted posting that?
I didn't hear that, so that's good to hear. But on the football field, I thought he was a pretty solid running back. I thought he's very dangerous in the passing game, which I think could fit well in Washington. They are also a pass-heavy, approach to their offense, and I think him coming out of the backfield could be pretty dangerous.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm excited to see. I'm going to do an episode probably tomorrow on the transfer portal and some of the key transfers and project maybe where some of the other ones go. But
nice.
Devin Carter, wide receiver for NC State, landed at Penn State.
I can talk about him. I thought that guy had talent coming out of his ears, and every year I was expecting him to really, blossom and flourish. It never really happened in Raleigh. Granted, this year the passing attack was awful with Leary getting hurt and everything, but still, he was always second fiddle to other receivers there. But the dude has size and speed, so I don't know. We'll see what can happen in a change of scenery. But he's been a disappointment in his college career so far.
Penn State going into the state of North Carolina, taking him, also taking Storm Duck. Dude,
yeah.
Penn State next year might be really fucking nasty. Yeah, I'll tell you this: if Harbaugh leaves Michigan, I think I might have Penn State as the best team coming in the next year because Ohio State's going to get hit with losing a lot.
Right.
I know that game is still in Columbus. Penn State can still lose that game, but
in limited action, let me tell you that quarterback. So Clifford's going to be gone, which I think people at Penn State are probably pretty happy. What's my guy's name? I'm drawing a blank on the backup.
But how about Singleton though?
Yeah, he's nasty. We saw that. We saw glimpses of that in the bowl game. If not all year long.
You're thinking of
Alar?
Yeah, true Alar, yeah.
Yeah, that dude. I think with some time, give him a little bit of time to get experience. But I think he's gonna be very good. So Penn State could be dangerous next year.
Yeah. And Treshaun Ward, the running back for Florida State, he hit the portal. That was some other news.
I like him too. I think that's going to be a good get. I was kind of surprised he lost touches to Benson, as the season progressed, because I think Ward's a hell of a running back.
East Carolina has a void now because
dude,
Mitchell going pro.
I would imagine Ward's going to go to a bigger school, but that would be a slam dunk if ECU could.
Who knows what to believe on this thing because Colorado's name comes up for every fucking player in America right now. But they said Colorado could be in the mix for Treshaun Ward.
Nice.
We didn't touch base on Ryan Walters getting hired at Purdue. Obviously Illinois had the second best defense in the nation this year. I know him because he was a safety under Gary Barnett at Colorado in the early 2000s. I was glad to see him get that gig. I know some people said they thought maybe you'd give him another year or so, but he was the assistant, or he was the DC at Missouri just a few years ago and had a good year there too. What'd you make of this hire? I like it, but I'm biased. What do you?
I know you've been a fan of his for the last couple of years. Again, the Big Ten West. Hold on, do we have one more year of that, or is that done now?
No, we at least have one more year. They haven't even made an official announcement that they're getting rid of it. They were just assuming that with the additions of UCLA and USC.
And because we saw that happen in the ACC and the Pac-12. Well, talking about the changes in Wisconsin, the change with Purdue going from an offensive-minded head coach now to a guy who, came up on defense, that's going to be interesting to see how they change their style of play, as well as Nebraska, to see what they do there. So I think the Big Ten West is actually kind of interesting, mostly because that coaching turnover.
Yeah, definitely. I guess we should touch base on the committee. Committee recommends NCAA committee got this is somewhat important news, I would say, towards college football and college basketball. The committee, let me paraphrase here because basically, I think actually I can find this statement. Hold on. Committee recommends that the governing sport and oversight committee for Division I championship team sports sponsored by more than 200 institutions should fully consider how to accommodate access for 25% of active member institutions in their playoffs. That's why they're calling for potentially 90 teams in the NCAA tournament for basketball, which is silly, even though I love more sports. Not going to really complain, but yes, I think it's going to make it incredibly hard for mid-majors if you got to go through 30 rounds.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But
we wanted expansion in football for the longest time, and just finally now we're getting some traction. Meanwhile, basketball, who already has a shit ton of a playoff, they want to add more there. Like, nobody is screaming to expand college basketball, the tournament, other than head coaches who are on the bubble and often on the wrong side of the bubble. So I don't think any fans are saying we want more. We want the NCAA tournament to expand.
Yeah. If anything, I would want this type of expansion with college basketball. Longer regular season, go to 35 games. Everyone go to 35 games. Give us another week of hoops.
Yeah.
Come on. I like that.
I'm down for that. But so the NCAA doesn't have anything to do with the college football playoff, though.
True. But the FCS playoffs, they do have something to do with.
True. So what is the percentage?
Would go to 32. That would go to 32, which it is in D2 and D3.
Okay, I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, I would be very cool with that. And hopefully, down the road, I actually think the money will prove it. I think this little sample we just had with TCU, and both games we had and the TV ratings.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know we got 12 coming, but then they're going to say, hey, we need to play more games. Also, the NFL keeps expanding their season, so you want to get your guys ready to make that transition.
Right.
So
Sure. Now, speaking of TV ratings, I haven't seen them. I imagine they were very good.
Yeah, since New Year's Eve has been terrible for college football.
People are at parties and stuff, right?
Yeah, it actually did really well considering that. They were both over 20. I think both in the 22 or 23 million view range. I want to say the Georgia Ohio State game had a little bit more, just the decimal point more than the TCU Michigan game. But I think it was the best numbers they did since for New Year's, since maybe the opening season.
Okay.
So that's good. But it's all coming. It's all coming. Let's just get to the games. All right. I mean, I know we could talk. I'm going to do a transfer portal episode. I know it's like 6 Bowling Green starters left. Don't worry. We're going to do a transfer portal episode. We're going to talk it all on the college football experience. But now it's time to just get to some games, and I'm just going to give us some very sweet ass music before we get to these games. We are the Gamblers, and I want to do a quick weather check on this one. But first off, FCS, what the fuck are you doing scheduling your game on Sunday afternoon right in the middle of the NFL?
Dude, I swear it seems like the FCS does not want anybody to watch their product. It makes absolutely no sense. Go back to like the spring league, or just the fact that they have so few games on like Thursday or Friday night. I swear they don't want anybody to watch, and it's a shame because it's damn good football.
Yeah, I mean, this game's awesome. I mean, folks don't know the history of North Dakota State and South Dakota State. First off, they are bitter rivals. South Dakota State's won 3 in a row. They've been playing this game since 1903. All right, this goes back 120 fucking years, and we're just gonna put this on in the middle of all the. If they put it on Saturday, yes, I understand there's 2 games on Saturday, right? Okay, put it on there though. There could be blowouts. Makes more sense. And hey, the whole season you played on Saturdays.
Right. It's the final week of the NFL. Teams are like pushing, for the playoffs and everything. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's crazy.
Or here's my idea: if you made old Pick Dundee commissioner of college football, you serve this up as the appetizer on Monday. You got the national championship on Monday, which I've never even liked having the national championship on Monday personally.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna do it, then you put both on the same station.
I kind of like that.
Leads into 2.
I kind of like that. But then you couldn't have a 2-hour pregame show that I can't stand.
That tells me that the backup running back at TCU, his mom had breast cancer.
Right. Some heartfelt piece. Come on.
I mean, look, my best wishes with everyone's health, but fuck, I don't need to hear about every damn story on the planet.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly.
So I'm intrigued by this matchup. I am very
Come on, you got to be Battle of the Dakotas, the rematch from earlier in the year where South Dakota State went into the Fargo Dome and won by 2. It's a great game, man.
And they've won 3 in a row against them. And this is why this game is so fantastic, is that they kind of had the blueprint. South Dakota State struggled in the playoffs. You know, they had the year they got to the championship, lost to Sam Houston State. And they were probably going to win that game had their quarterback not torn his ACL, who started all their season, but he was actually their backup. So essentially they were on their third string in that game. So now you get this fine matchup on ABC at 11 a.m., right in the middle of the fucking 11 a.m. on the West, 2 on the East. This is at Toyota Stadium. I see the weather, and it's supposed to be a clear day. I know we've had some rain in Frisco, Texas, for some of these matchups.
Best little town in America.
It is the best little town in America. I'm looking at some property there. How about the teams on the ground, though? They're both just pretty dynamic on the ground. North Dakota State averages 273 yards per game on the ground. North Dakota State, by the way, not great at throwing the forward pass.
No, not at all.
Cam Miller, which is crazy because they've been like a factory. Easton Stick, is he? I don't know. He's still in the NFL, I think, on the Chargers. Right? Trey Lance, still in the NFL on the 49ers. Carson Wentz, still in the NFL on the Redskins.
Not starting this weekend, though. Sam Howell's getting his first start ever.
I don't know that any North Dakota State quarterback should start after just reading off those names.
Who's worse, North Dakota State quarterbacks or Ohio State quarterbacks?
That's a great question. Because there's probably someone in like the North Dakota State's past, because the best you could pull out for Ohio State's like Mike Tomczak. Like, I got Bobby Hoy and Mike Tomczak. Craig Krenzel.
Fields, still a question mark on Fields, but I don't know.
Great running back. I mean, this is the styles are so fucking similar. I want to go back. I want to look real quick at the first matchup.
Yeah.
Because so 23-21. And by the way, North Dakota State was up 21-7 at halftime. So South Dakota State dominates the second half, scores 16 unanswered. And that was in the Fargo Dome.
Huge. And you mentioned the rushing attack. So South Dakota State's won 3 games in a row. You know what? They've ran for more yards in each of those games. Earlier this season, they ran for 207 compared to only 127 for North Dakota State. It's rare North Dakota State only runs for that much. Go back to last year, South Dakota State ran for 181, held North Dakota State to 147. And then in the spring in 2020, they ran for 309 yards, did the Jackrabbits, and they held North Dakota State to under 100, just 98.
Well,
go ahead.
Isaiah Davis is an NFL caliber running back for South Dakota State, folks. If you don't know, if you're just watching this one because it's the second to last college football game and you know the NFL is pretty shitty, then that's what you do. You circle in on Isaiah Davis because he's a beast. Continue.
And they're starting to become running back you there because we know Pierre Strong was drafted by the Patriots, getting a little bit of burn this year.
They had both last year.
Crazy.
They had a better running back field than like 90% of the FBS.
Right. The other thing that stood off the page when I was looking at these last 3 wins was the turnover battle. In these 3 games, North Dakota State has committed a total of 4 turnovers. South Dakota State has committed 0 in 3 games combined. So
I have a theory on this. Well, first off, we should mention that I believe Hunter Lepke, legendary running back for the Bison, he's a season-ending injury. So as far as I know, he's not playing in this one. He hasn't been playing in the past couple games.
The Carson Lexington Steele of the FCS ranks.
Yes. But Cam Miller has really struggled to throw the ball. I look back at the game, in the fall, he threw a pick. And it's not only that. We watched it against Incarnate Word. We watched it against, who was it in the first round? That was Samford, I think it was.
Yeah.
He's pretty shitty as a passing quarterback. He's a good running quarterback. He's got a little Tebow to him. But as a passing quarterback, and then on the other side of the ball, you have Mark Gronowski, who is a damn good quarterback, I think. Like this guy could start for some FBS programs, 100%. So the clear quarterback edge is South Dakota State. The running back edge, I think is in South Dakota State's favor too. Maybe if you could talk me into like Lepke being healthy, you could say, okay, well maybe, but I still think South Dakota State's got the better running back here. O-line play, call it a wash. Maybe you lean North Dakota State because of history, but North Dakota State. Look at Miller's stats on the season. They're not amazing. They're not amazing on the season. 11 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I guess from that point of view, didn't turn the ball over a ton, but they didn't need. That's crazy. Only 11 touchdowns on the season. You look at their leading receiver. Their leading receiver for the season has 29 catches. It's almost like Navy football.
Dude, all you have to do is look at the win over Incarnate Word. Cam Miller passing went 1 for 12 for 5 yards.
And they won.
I kid you not.
Questionable some calls there.
Very much so. They had 5 yards passing compared to 328 yards rushing. Obviously, against the smaller, less physical Cardinals of Incarnate Word, they could just run down their throats consistently. But also, I think what was concerning in that nail biter of a win for the Bison was the defense. The defense did not show up. They gave up over 500 yards to Incarnate Word, over 250 on the ground. The Incarnate Word running back, Marcus Cooper, ran for over 100. If Incarnate Word is doing that, just wait until the Jackrabbits get their running game going.
Yeah, and John Stiegelmeier, great name, longtime head coach of South Dakota State. He's never won the championship, man. This guy's 65 years old. I think this is his time. I think there's blood in the water with North Dakota State. Like, kudos for them getting there, even though questionable cause.
You're kind of seeing a changing of the guard as to who the top dog is, and that's evident in the 3-game win streak.
So I'm going to start with this. The over-under is 47.5. We mentioned the first matchup, 23-21. That was 44, or what is that? 44 points combined. So the under would have hit there. This is in Frisco. Does it really? If anything, does it? I think South Dakota State plays outdoors. North Dakota State doesn't. So maybe even that advantage too.
Well, just not having to play at the Fargo Dome is huge because we know that place gets lit, as you like to say. So I don't think there's really an advantage necessarily. I don't think they're calling for any crazy weather or anything. So I don't know. Laying 5. What do you think? They always say it's tough to beat a good team twice.
No, I think they've been waiting. They should have won the championship 2 years ago. A lot of this roster was there. He's never won a natty.
Right.
This is their time to shine. I'm laying the 5. The question is, do I go under? Because I think they can bottle up. I think they can match North Dakota State on the line of scrimmage.
Totally.
Cam Miller, it's up to him. If he can have a good passing day, because I think play action is going to be there for him. I'm taking South Dakota State minus the 5, and I'm also going to take the under. I'm going to take the under 47.5.
I'm going to go. I'm definitely taking the Jackrabbits. They were my team, and we all picked somebody in the spring. And come on, man. Like I said, North Dakota State's been at the top of the mountain for long enough. They're slowly getting knocked off their perch. I think this is the death blow in Frisco. You know what? I got to go under also. I wanted to choose something different, but really, I think this is going to be a relatively low-scoring game. And South Dakota State is going to win. I don't know. What do you think? 27-17, something like that?
I'm thinking something like 21-10.
Okay.
21-10. They get it done. South Dakota State's got too many answers. You look at their team, whether it's Gronowski, they have the Janke brothers, Jackson Janke and Jaden Janke at the receiver spots. And then you have the running back play, like I mentioned, and I even like the backup kid for them, Amar Johnson.
They certainly don't have a one-dimensional offense like North Dakota State does.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference. That the over/under is a little tricky to me because
and if anybody still has a chip on their shoulder, it's still the Jackrabbits.
100%. This is their time. The coach is this old, even their window. Like honestly, if you're John Stiegelmeier, you're thinking, what do we got? Maybe 5, 6 years, 7 years left.
Right.
How many chances are you going to be? It's tough to get to the national championship.
This is it, man. You got the better team. Get it done.
Let's go. All right. Jackrabbits for the dub. We're both agreeing here. You lean under too. So we're agreeing all across the board, huh?
We are.
All right. Well, look, folks, before we get to the game going on out here in Los Angeles, want to tell you the college football experience is brought to you by WinBet. Yes, WinBet is the official online sportsbook of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. WinBet is active in a bunch of states, and there's a ton of ways to win, including live betting and same game parlays. There's reduced juice on sides and totals for the national championship and FCS playoffs, or FCS championship, I should say. Great promos, odds, and payouts are happening right now at WinBet. Ready to play? Sign up today to receive a special offer. Bet $100, win $100. That's limited to state availability, of course. There's so much to choose from. All you have to do is head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbets. So they know that we sent you, essentially, folks. Come on. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet. That's WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. Offer subject to change, terms and conditions at winbet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where play with WinBet is available. You or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. I know people say
there you go.
Lou Holtz when I'm doing that. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy, it's always, the season. It never ends over at Underdog Fantasy. Right now, you can play their weekly Battle Royale games or even draft your playoff best ball team. They have a ton of daily games for NHL, NBA. Plus, when you use the promo code SGPN at UnderdogFantasy.com, you get a 100% deposit match up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN. All right, we shift out here, and I'll be honest, I'm not lying to you, NC Nick, and I'm a hater of SoFi Stadium.
No. Well, after what I heard today, I'm a hater of it as well. First off, it's not downtown. Isn't it like
it's in
45 minutes away?
Yeah. So you have to.
That's your first problem.
Yeah. And it just sucks. Let's be honest. You have the Rose Bowl and the Coliseum right there. Two classic football institutions. All right. And you're playing at this this nonsense, this soccer stadium out here. And I don't care what anyone says. This stadium is not fucking awesome. All right. Look, and I hate the stadium. I turned down free tickets for the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl 2 years in a row. Right. But
from Jimmy Kimmel himself, right?
No, I wish. But hey, I've been to the Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel has bought me beers one way or another. When you consider the fact that I used to live a block away from where that show would take place, and we had we had a hookup there, so we would go there to pregame because we would get free beers. So
sweet.
Met Dennis Leary there. Met the great Dennis Leary there. Yeah, a few other. I've seen some celebs there. I could name drop. But
look at you rubbing elbows.
Yeah.
With a Hollywood elite like Dennis Leary.
Name drop. All right. Carbon Electra. What's up? How you doing? No.
Was Leary plowing her at the time?
No, that was not the same day. Like I said, I was there multiple times to get shit hammered.
Well,
but I was thinking, man, how many times do I get a chance to go to the national championship? Should I go to this game? Only $400 for a ticket. Only $400,
cheaper than the Super Bowl.
But I was ready to do it, and then I heard that you can't pregame.
That is crazy. No tailgating.
Unbelievable,
dude.
Fucking believable.
Tailgating is one of the most American things ever, and it goes hand in hand with football.
They did this last year. This is not a California. I know everyone wants to jump on it. I think I saw Josh Pate saying California. This is not a California thing. They did this in Indianapolis last year.
You told me that. I didn't know that last year.
Yeah.
That's why not? Why can you not tailgate? What the hell is this?
What's going on in our society? What's wrong? What's wrong with doing like 16 Jaeger bombs, punching a guy in the face, and going to watch football?
All year long, college football is tailgating.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to hide from what you are? I mean, one of the greatest things about college football is the tailgating.
Yes. That's what makes it different. One of the many things that I think makes college football the greatest version of football we have in America.
Yes. Granted, there's tailgating at the NFL too, but it's not the same. There's not college football tailgating trumps all other tailgating, and yet you can't do it, for the championship game, which is insane. Who makes that rule? Is it the playoff committee?
That's a good question, but for them to
I want some answers.
Yeah, I want answers too.
I want the truth.
I feel like, you know what I should do is just go I should go to like a Bevmo and buy like 3,000 airport bottles and just run around handing out airport bottles as a fuck you back to them.
So if you drive up there, you park your car, you get out and you crack a beer, is you gonna have some parking attendant gonna come up to you and say, "No, sir, pour that out. You can't drink here"?
I guess so. I mean, here's the thing though: is the Forum, the old Laker Stadium, is right across the street. Maybe the play is to go to the Forum, pretend like you're gonna go see a Kenny G concert, get absolutely blitzkrieged over there, and then you hop on over, or there's the Hollywood Casino, not far away, with like 50, maybe
now you're talking our language.
I'm sure the drinks might be a little pricier, but fuck it, you're only in LA once if you're a Georgia fan or a TCU fan.
I see Weehawk in the chat. That dude lives at the casino. You're definitely talking his language.
That guy's a fucking legend. I love that guy. All right. So you maybe that's the play, folks. If you're listening to this, and there's a small chance I still might go. All right. Venmo me $400. Okay. So this is at currently I'm seeing the spread at 13.
Man.
The disrespect.
Nobody here has to ask you who you're taking. Okay. I think everybody who's ever listened to an episode of the College Experience knows who you're taking.
Well, I mean, you see the flag? Oh, did they take the flag down? They take my fucking flag down. You see it right here. You see it right here. All right. You see this? You see this? There's only one fucking coach in the national championship. All right. That has an allegiance to this flag. All right.
Fly your flag.
And get this. Yeah. Swing your sword, fly your flag. But you also have Lincoln Riley's little brother, Garrett Riley, offensive coordinator. Hey, Lincoln Riley's brother probably wouldn't be a coach if it wasn't for Mike Leach telling Lincoln Riley, hey, dude, I think you could be successful at this. You're not good enough to play quarterback, so we're going to cut you, but you should stay here and we'll turn you into a winner. And that's what happened, essentially. So there's no way I can fade. It's just, this is destiny. This is destiny.
Well, I hope you're right on for that case. But as far as real reasons why TCU might cover and maybe even win, is that I think we saw this last weekend. Georgia, their defense is not the same Georgia defense as last year. Especially in the air. They still have a very good running defense. They can still stop you on the ground, but in the air, you can be beat. And we've seen TCU and Quentin Johnston and others be able to move the ball via the air and the ground. Again, you have a dual threat offense where it's tough to stop TCU's offense. They have that many playmakers, and they're led by Max Duggan, who probably should have won the Heisman this year, because he's having a phenomenal year, and they have a very good coaching staff to boot.
And they've had a better offensive line than I think anyone realized, getting some transfers from SMU coming in there, following Sonny Dykes. But
right.
You're right. And look, Georgia's – I personally thought TCU matched up better against Ohio State than Georgia, if I'm being completely honest, because I think Georgia's defensive line is going to be able to give them problems. But at the same time –
I thought the same thing about Michigan, though.
True, and especially from the other side of the ball. But I agree that they'll be able to stretch the field. And I also think the run game can somewhat be successful. I was trying to think about this. Who is Spencer Rattler's not a running quarterback, right? He's a good passing quarterback.
AR-15 would be the best rushing quarterback they've played so far. But
he's strictly a rushing quarterback.
He's so limited. I was saying, like, you can just load the box and make him beat you through the air, and he probably won't be able to beat you.
Yeah. So, but Max Duggan, I think he can pose a threat there. I think once again though, and I thought this was the way to beat Georgia, and I personally thought Ohio State should have beaten Georgia. They were up like 99% of that game, but kudos to Kirby Smart and Stetson Bennett for getting it done in the clutch. But you got to get up on them. You got to make them play from behind. And I think TCU's defense is better than Ohio State's. I know Ohio State's will chart. But to me, you're playing a bunch of Big Ten offenses. I don't care. Like TCU's defense, I think, is better than Ohio State's.
Yeah, as far as yardage given up per game, TCU's defense ranks 80th in the country, which is remarkable. The fact they're in the championship game with the 80th ranked
It's
defense.
because every offense in the Big 12 is good.
You definitely have to take it with a grain of salt. I mean, stats are they're valuable, but they're not the end all be all. That defense did enough against Michigan. Granted, the 2 pick sixes were huge, and I thought they played good bend but not break defense. But we touched on this a little bit in our recap or our reaction pod Monday. The question is, Stetson Bennett is much better than J.J. McCarthy, and he's not going to make the mistakes that McCarthy made. And
unless he has to come from behind. Because, look, Stetson Bennett through the first half of that TCU game wasn't setting the world on fire. Now, credit to Stetson Bennett. He's made me look like an idiot his whole fucking career.
He came from behind last week. Yeah. He came from behind against Bama last year in the championship.
Well, Bama lost. Well, how about their luck with receivers getting injured? Can we mention that?
That's true.
Bama's receivers get injured last year. They lost Bolden before that game started, and then Jameson Williams tears his ACL. Then you have Marvin Harrison Jr. And first off, Smith and Jigba doesn't play, and then Marvin Harrison Jr. What the hell? Quentin Johnson, maybe you opt out of this one.
Right. Well, speaking of receivers, though, I think, Quentin Johnston will be playing in the pros. Last week, he had 6 for 163 and a touchdown, continually sliced up that Wolverine defense. But I think TCU is going to need more than just him, because if you look, the 3 other receivers caught 6 balls and Quentin Johnson caught 6 balls. So they need a big game from like Tay Barber or Darius Davis. Those guys aren't consistent, but they're dangerous, and they can come up with a couple big plays. So I think, Georgia obviously is going to pay a lot of attention to Quentin Johnston. He's earned that for damn sure. He's a hell of a receiver. What they need is for one of those 2 other guys to step up, if not both of them.
Kendra Miller, I think, he's a game time decision.
Yeah.
That's pretty huge in this game too, I think, because I want them to have both running backs available.
Well, Georgia runs that 3-headed monster at running back also, and they all get probably like 8 to 12 carries. They kind of play the hot hand a little bit. Yeah, I think TCU, it would be nice if they had both Miller and DeMarcado, but I think either one is. I don't think one's that much better than the other. So I think more importantly, I think they need more playmakers catching the ball, especially because that's the way you beat Georgia this year, is through the air.
I think another important thing for them to have, and this was a factor against Michigan, Darius Davis had a big-time return. I'll go back to the Colorado game.
That guy's nasty.
They were going to be losing that game. He had a punt return for a touchdown.
And a reverse for a touchdown, I think.
That shifted that momentum in that game. He's got to have a big game. I'm taking the 13 points because Mike Leach is a friend of the fucking program. I'm wearing this sweater that Coach Leach gave us himself. All right?
So my other concern is that, if TCU, are you going TCU money line?
Look, I don't come here to bullshit. All right? I don't come here to bullshit. All right?
Well, look, we mentioned that in the FCS preview, it's hard to beat a good team twice. It's also really hard to win back-to-back championships. I think Saban's only done it once. Is that right?
I think so. Maybe.
It's damn hard to win 2 times in a row. On the other hand, can we be lucky enough to get 3 really good games in a row?
No, I think, like I said, I think the matchup is not as good as if I thought TCU really had a great chance to win against Ohio State. But this is more of a play of me trusting Coach Leach and the energy that's out there in the planet right now.
Yeah, and if there is a lopsided win, it would be Georgia beating TCU handily. It's not going to be the other way.
Yeah, I agree.
I just look at TCU had everything break for them in the first half of that game. And to their credit, they were able to hang in there and pull it out and make big play after big play after big play. But they could have went down early, and then we might not have heard from the Horned Frogs again. So I say all this, and we mentioned also Monday, look, I've been kind of fading TCU every week, and I'm not gonna do it again. I'm not gonna do it again, damn it. Just because I want to root for them. I don't feel great about this, but give me the damn points. And if you're taking the points, you might as well sprinkle a little bit on that money line as well.
Oh, there we fucking go. Right there. Where the hell is my music? Horned Frogs, baby.
Now,
What about that
total?
over under at 62.5?
I mean, who isn't going over after they saw the 2 semifinal games? And for that reason alone, I'll go under.
I see it. We see eye to eye here.
Oh,
See eye
again.
to eye here.
Well, I hope when we give out our DFS lineup, there's going to be some differences.
I have you know the last time Georgia and TCU played, Georgia only won by 8.
All right. When was that?
2016. Food for thought.
Stetson Bennett was only in his early 20s at that point.
He was only a sophomore that year. All right. Look, I mean, I can't wait to watch these games. Sucks. Let me ask you this: does it benefit TCU that the game's in the dome?
It certainly doesn't hurt them. They probably have the faster team, I'd say. I think that's fair to say, right?
I guess Georgia's pretty fucking fast, but yeah, Georgia doesn't have like elite wide receivers, so I feel like TCU
we mentioned those 3 receivers from TCU. They're all speedsters, man. They can all break long ones. So
yeah,
I don't know if it necessarily favors anybody. I think that probably evens out. But it's certainly not like the Big Ten championship game where Ohio State has a massive advantage over somebody from the Big Ten West. Yeah.
Yeah. Iowa's tight ends cut nasty on that roller rink and fucking
right.
All right, let's get to the DFS side of
All
things. All right, because I got a roster that people are drooling over. Let me tell you that right now. All right.
Today I'll try not to have my phone go up in the camera.
Yeah, that was hilarious. This is NC Nick. So this is my roster.
All right.
Subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience, folks. Watch it.
There
Don't
you
just
go.
listen, watch it.
That's right. You want to see these beautiful faces.
Who is my top dog, you're asking?
Who's your captain?
Well, I know I just made a great case for for TCU. But I'm gonna take a shot on Kenny McIntosh.
Okay.
Is my dog.
So I wanted to go with somebody pretty cheap here, cheaper than McIntosh, because I wanted to fit in both quarterbacks. And I'm talking about Brock Big Game Bowers. I thought he was going to have a big semifinal game. He was relatively quiet, just had 4 for 64.
Had a huge play, though.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
But relatively quiet because we've seen him blow up. I mean, earlier this week against Florida, 5 for 154 and a touchdown. Against South Carolina, 5 for 121. So I was wrong. He didn't have the big semifinal game. I'm going to go back to the Bowers well, and I think he finds the end zone here. I think he has a good game, and that allows me to fit both quarterbacks in.
Is this strictly because he's a California native? You think he's home? Napa Valley's far away, but
I didn't even think about that angle, but it certainly doesn't hurt. I'm sure his family will be in attendance.
Yep. Same with Brian Kelly's.
I feel like whenever we say family now,
just gotta.
McIntyre said that first, and whenever I say family, I
was like going through the TV guide the other day.
Family Guy.
Family Matters was on, and I was like, oh, it made me think of Brian Kelly. I never would have thought Steve Urkel and Brian Kelly would go hand in hand, but
Family Guy was better than Family Matters, so.
True, very true. But Larry Johnson did have a guest appearance on Family Matters.
What about All in the Family?
I don't even know what that is.
Family Ties?
Oh, Family Ties.
Well, Michael P. Keaton?
Well, isn't that Alyssa Milano, Family Ties? Or is that Who's the Boss? I don't remember.
That's Who's the Boss.
Okay. I don't know about Family Ties. Sure. All right. I feel like I watched that in the 80s, but
you did. You definitely.
Michael
J. Fox. Come on.
Oh, there we go. Shout out to Michael J. Fox. Big. He might be at the game. It's in LA.
There you go. All right, let's get this back on board. All right, so I've already alluded to this. I have both quarterbacks. Max Duggan, 11.6K. Stetson Bennett, 11.2K. Did you also fit both of them in?
No. No, I did not.
Which one? Did you fit either of them in?
I decided to go away from Stetson, the law firm. I'm hoping that all these years of me doubting him, it comes true in this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got McIntosh as my top guy. My quarterback is Max Duggan. We've been repping him on the college football experience for like 3 or 4 years.
I swear we were ahead of the curve on Duggan.
And, I got to back my boy. Everything about, so not only the Coach Leach angle, the fact we've been repping, so the two coaches affiliated with Coach Leach, the fact we've been repping Max Duggan for years, the fact that I am personal friends with the athletic director. I can't fade TCU. It's meant to be. It's meant to be.
Understood. Right? Let's do it. So who's your third highest if you don't have both quarterbacks? Did you fit in Quentin Johnston?
I did.
As did I.
I think you got to go with him the way that they were carving up the secondary of Georgia a week ago.
I'll say it again. That's the way you beat Georgia. I think TCU is going to have some success through the air.
So I rostered him, and then so wait, we have just two players so far, similar. Then I went. I took a shot on DeMercado. I wanted to take. I might switch this out if I see that Miller's starting, but I went with DeMercado because I think I think one of the ways Georgia's speed on defense, and also their defensive line, one of the ways to neutralize that is the screen game. You saw them do it against Michigan, but they used Quentin Johnson a lot in the screen game.
Sure,
I think they might make some adjustments, try to hit the running backs out of the backfield.
Yeah, for me, I steered clear of the TCU backfield. You have Miller. Is he going to play or not? If so, DeMercado's value goes down big time, obviously. But also that Georgia run defense is legit. Top 3 in the country, I think. They limited the Ohio State running backs.
Michigan's defense was top against the run too,
True. That's true. And Michigan also limited the Ohio State ground game, but Georgia limited them to only 79 yards on only 3.7 yards per carry. So I didn't touch either running back. And also I don't have much money left since I did go both quarterbacks. So I'm going the Georgia kicker, Pudlesny, for 3.6K.
Old Faithful.
And hey man, he's a pretty good kicker. And really with him, I got the cheaper kicker between the two teams. And I think, I don't know. I mean, there's really no other reasoning behind it. I needed a cheap guy. And then my total punt play, only 1.8K. I'm going to take a stab at one of those Georgia receivers. You never really know who's going to show up for them. But I took Marcus Roseme Jack Saint for 1.8K. Had a couple catches against Ohio State. Hopefully he can do it again. Who is your last guy? Last two guys?
Well, I'm going Edwards in the rushing attack for Georgia. I'm hitting you with McIntosh, hitting you with Edwards.
Wow.
And banking on their ground game success. And then I did go with the Arian Smith. I think he showed some flashes of what he could become. Maybe maybe the old coming out party is here.
I would say 3 for 129 and a touchdown is definitely showing some flashes. So he had a big semifinal game. Wondering if he can do it again. So it's actually pretty interesting, the differences between our lineups. I did not roster one running back, which is pretty fucking crazy, I'd say. But, both teams like to bring in multiple people. And I just think maybe, that's the price I pay for getting both quarterbacks.
Who's got the better quarterback historically, though? Is it going to be Fran Tarkenton, or are you going to go Sammy Ball? TCU's got Sammy Ball. Fran Tarkenton went to Georgia.
Well, since we're old Redskins fans, you got to go Sammy Ball. Plus, he also played DB and punter.
Yeah, and led the nation, or led the NFL in interceptions
and punting average.
Yeah,
for a quarterback. Now, Tarkenton was pretty damn cool too, though.
Tarkenton's great. There's
not gonna lie.
Great clip I put of him on social media in the past year of him scoring a touchdown and turning around and pegging the ball at the defensive back's head. And then they fought in the corner of the end zone for the next 10 minutes. Fran Tarkenton, true badass.
I love it.
Folks, come play DFS with us. We tweet out the roster, or we tweet out the roster. Tweet out the invite at TCE on SGPN. It's down to 2 football games left, folks. Let's enjoy them. FCS, please give me a call about your scheduling tactics. All right. subscribe to the College Football Experience. We appreciate you rocking with us all year, talking college football. And don't, like I said, I'm actually going to be coming on the show talking college football, well, pretty much like 5 days a week, all off season. So we're not stopping. We're not fucking stopping. A lot of storylines we can talk about. How about your boy Biff Poggi landing a 4-star at Charlotte?
Did he? I didn't see that. Look at that, man.
Already.
Dude, right? I just learned that the enrollment in Charlotte is a big university, and they're kind of following like UCF's blueprint because UCF has a very high enrollment as
like
well.
75,000 people.
It's
man.
something crazy.
Insane.
Yeah. So what Charlotte could be like under the radar sleeper as far as the football program that could make some noise down the road if our guy Biff Hoagie works out.
Well, the 4-star, he said, we're going to take Charlotte to the college football playoffs.
Boom.
Hey, problem is there's one school there instead of North Carolina.
Yeah, that's App State.
In your own conference.
Yep.
Charlotte. Folks, subscribe to the College Football Experience. We'll be back in a couple hours talking college basketball. Subscribe to the College Basketball Experience. And also, don't forget about Noah Beanick and the College Baseball Experience. That season goes into full swing in February. Yeah. Get the SGPN app. Check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. And it's been a fun season talking college football with you guys and girls. All right. That's what you got to do in 2022. You got to make sure I clarify.
We got a lot of female friends out there.
We do. I mentioned Carmen Electra earlier. All right.
That's right.
All right, folks. Subscribe. All right. This is the College Football Experience National Championship Invitational Style Preview. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Thank you. Well, this is a great way to get started. And I haven't even plugged all my games yet. It's a great night to be a Tiger. I'm here with my family.
Sometimes people that are standing on third base think they hit a triple. They didn't.
They're begging us. Please have a party. Feed us drinks. Get us laid.
Coaching, coaching did a horrible job. The players did a horrible job. We got our ass kicked in the second half.
Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.
Yeah, he felt like shit afterwards. Everybody's booing the shit out of him, but he worked his ass off. And no smarter